everybody, and welcome to my broadcast. I am High Priestess Autumn Phoenix. Follow me on my social media platforms. You can find me on Facebook at Magically Blessed. Find me on Twitter at Priestess Autumn. Find me on YouTube at Autumn Phoenix. Find me on Periscope at Autumn Phoenix. And find me on Instagram at Autumn_Phoenix1. Spring starts on the 20th of this month. If you are a witch, you know that the 20th is also Astora, the original Easter. Yes, Astora is the original Easter. Easter, what the Christians celebrate, is just a copy, a complete copy of Astora. If you are a witch, I have 8 things that you can do to celebrate spring. Most of you may have already started spring cleaning, donating, or just simply throwing out things that you no longer need. Anything to bring in some freshness that you need after this long winter that we have been having. The first idea I have for you guys is, how about learning a new skill in witchcraft? Spring is the ideal time to begin new projects. Pick a skill in the craft that you have not yet explored. So if you have ever wanted to do blood magic, explore that. If you ever wanted to explore sex magic, explore that. If you ever wanted to do bone magic, do that. If you ever wanted to learn how to make your own potions, do that. If you ever wanted to learn how to make your own essential oils, do that. If you ever wanted to learn how to make a puppet, do that. Do anything in witchcraft that you have been dying to explore and to add to your craft. I personally have done all of those things. I do them alone and I do them within my coven too. So if you have a skill that you may be lacking in the craft and you want to explore and you want to add to your own craft, then go ahead and do it. Spring is the ideal time to begin new projects. The second thing is going on nature walks. If you have discontinued your regular magical walks during this winter season, get back into the swing of them. Get back into the swing of them. You can set a time and a day at least. Do yourself this favor, at least once a week, to get out and walk in the natural world. Because you know, as witches, we live with 1 foot in the natural world and 1 foot in the supernatural world. That's the best description of a witch. A witch that lives with 1 foot in the natural world and the other foot in the supernatural world. It helps to be selective and pick out a really beautiful place in your area to walk. If you live in the city, your neighborhood park is perfect. I live in the city. I'm from New York. If you live in the country or in the suburbs, you have a lot more options because those areas have a lot of woods and forests. Unlike here in New York City, we have skyscrapers. For me to really be out in nature, I have to go all the way upstate to New York City. I have to take the train to get there. So use the environment that you currently live in to get back into nature. You can also try woodland dog paths where people walk their dogs. You can go down regular walking paths, riverside parks. Take notes of whatever flowers or grass that you see, and take note of when they are blooming in the weeks before or maybe even the weeks after spring on March 20th. My third thing is to clean out your cabinets that you store your herbs in. Expired herbs will not work towards your magical goal. Do not eat herbs that are expired. You will be poisoned. By the time spring rolls around, your magical and your non-magical herbs need to have a good go through. So you would throw away anything that is more than 6 months old. If your herbs are more than 6 months, throw it in the garbage. They will not work towards your magical goal. And clean out or dry out any herbs that you have in jars to make way for the spring herbs that is now emerging from the ground in the coming weeks after March 20th. So any herbs that you have had in your possession for more than 6 months, throw them away. I know some people use basil and parsley if they happen to be a kitchen witch. I don't care. Do not put it in your food. You will become poisoned. Throw it away, buy more. Any herbs that is more than 6 months old is no good. It's not going to work for you in your magical goal. And if you are a kitchen witch, stop being cheap and buy new herbs that are up to date. And do clean out any herb that you have in your jars as well. And I say that, the reason why I say don't be cheap when it comes to your herbs is because if you go to a wood shop, their herbs are expensive. Especially here in New York City with our taxes that are so high. You really have to pick wisely at what you need and just buy witchcraft supplies that you're actually going to use in your spells, your rituals, your hexes, your curses. You know, don't buy shit that you don't need. The fourth thing is to go to the farmer's market. Make it a point, make it an obligation to get to know your local farmer's market this season, this spring. And get to know your local farmers. Let me tell you something. The farmer's market isn't just a great place to gather in-season produce, natural soap, natural deodorant, and freshly laid eggs. It's not just that. It's also a great place for witches to network. Yes, network. Farmers markets is also a great place for witches to do networking. These farmers know their crops right down to their roots. Be friendly with them. Flirt with them a little bit. There is no better way to live. There is no better way to live. Oh my God, I can't even talk. There is no better way to live seasonally than to consistently eat seasonal food. And you'll find that the farmer's market is your first step on this journey. Even here in New York City, we have farmers markets. We have them maybe every Sunday, maybe a couple of times a week. And I get to know my farmers. I do. Because I want to know what herb does what before I buy it. And I think to myself, is this herb going to help me magically? Is it going to help me in my spells, rituals, hexes, or curses? Because if you're not sure, it probably won't work. So ask your farmer. They know their crops down to their roots. Ask them. And it's also a place to meet new witches. Make new friends there. Most of the people that you meet at farmers markets tend to be vegans or vegetarians or not just witches, but any branch of paganism. We know that paganism is this large tree of different other types of religions, Wicca being one of them. So it's a good place to meet new people of a pagan background. The fifth thing I have for you all is your garden. You'll find that working the earth is a cornerstone. Working with the earth is a cornerstone of staying connected to the seasons and to the will of the year. Now is the perfect time to order seeds, to get your seedlings in. Think about the layout of your garden and maximize your space, maximize the space of your garden, and maximize your time to be able to spend in your garden. Because if you don't take care of your garden, your vegetation, your flowers will die. So work on your garden if you happen to have one. If you do not have a garden, like if you live in an apartment or a condo and you happen to have a balcony, you can still grow herbs there. You can still grow rosemary, parsley. I believe you can also grow lavender, and you can use all of those things in your craft. The sixth thing is, which is a big Sabbath for us this month, Astora. Astora is on March 20th. There is a full moon also on Astora. By the way, Mercury goes retrograde tomorrow. So Mercury will be retrograde for 3 weeks. Astora is on March 20th. If you've been following me on my social media platforms, you know I've been talking about that like crazy. Put some effort, like actually give a damn, put some effort into the planning process for the Sabbaths. They go much more smoothly and are much more fun in the end when you plan ahead. You don't want to wait until the day before. You don't want to wait until the 19th to start planning. And I told my covenants that you do not have to celebrate our Sabbaths on the exact day. Like for Samhain on October 31st. You know, October is the season of the witch. You can celebrate Samhain anytime in October. You can celebrate Astora anytime in March. It does not have to be on the exact date, as long as you recognize it. That's all that counts. That's as long as you recognize it. But for me personally, when it comes to Samhain, I do try my damnedest to make sure that I celebrate it on October 31st. And not anytime later than that. Because Halloween is my favorite holiday. I love Halloween, and my favorite Sabbath of ours is Samhain. The seventh thing, outdoor space. If you practice a morning ritual, you might want to consider setting up a quiet, private place on your patio, your balcony, in your yard, to move your ritual outdoors. Now listen to me. You might have neighbors who don't like that you're a witch and might, give you problems because you are doing rituals outside. First of all, it's none of their damn business. If you're on your own property, they can't say anything to you. What they can do is shut the fuck up. Okay? Because I've had neighbors like that has had a problem with me doing morning rituals on my own property. And now my response is, shut the fuck up and mind your own goddamn business. I don't play that shit. I'm not one of those witches that you can bully. So, if your neighbors have a problem, just tell them to shut the fuck up. That's all. Because if you're on your own property, what's the problem? What exactly is the problem here? And they won't even give you an answer. They won't even say anything. You know what they'll do? They'll just go back in their house and probably call the police on you. Because I've had that happen to me. I hate those motherfuckers. But you get what I'm saying. You have people, your neighbors, or even passerbys that stop and stare at what you're doing outside. It's like, can I help you? I just don't like that. I don't like being stared at for the wrong reasons, okay? If you are a witch that lives in a city like I do here in New York, you can cover up your balconies the best way that you can for spring. You can also enjoy the spring rains that come. You can, what's your favorite spring beverage? I don't know, lemonade, iced tea, pomegranate tea, that tea that has the big bear sitting on that love seat with the hat on. He's like going to sleep. You've probably seen that tea before. But for everybody else who does not live in the city, you can create a sacred space outside, doing something as simple as sticking a outdoor lawn chair in your garden and just watching your flowers bloom, or watching those cute little rabbits come up out of the ground, just watching how the earth is changing around you as we approach spring on March 20th. The 8th thing I have is when it comes to wreaths. Now, you usually see wreaths around Christmas time, but no, you can make a wreath of flowers for spring. By making a wreath, you are keeping a reminder of the seasons and that they are moving forward by crafting a wreath for your front door. In modern day paganism, let me tell you something. In modern day paganism, wearing a wreath of flowers in your hair continues to delight the spring and summer festivals. They represent the spring and summer festivals. You can place one on your door, either inside or outside, and you'll appreciate it more because it was not bought. It was made by you with love and care. It was made by hand, and it was made with all natural ingredients, just things you found outside that represents spring. And you will put it on your door to bless your home for the springtime. After a store, I think we have, I have to check which one the next one. I want to tell you all, the new moon is on, I believe, the 6th. So tomorrow is the start of Mercury going retrograde. The next day, on the 6th, is a new moon. And on the 20th is Astora, and it's also spring equinox. when nights and day are at equal lengths. For those of you who don't know what Mercury retrograde is, it's when the planet Mercury appears to go backwards, but it's not actually going backwards. It's just slowing down very slowly, that it appears to be going backwards. No planet can physically go backwards. It's just when we look at it through our telescope, it appears that way. It's just an illusion. And Mercury represents communication. It represents signing contracts. So if you are about to go into a big meeting or sign a multi-million-dollar contract, there may be some problems. So you have to figure out how to work with it. If you work against it, it'll light your ass on fire. It'll punch back. So do research how you can work with Mercury retrograde and not work against it. Now let me very quickly tell you all again where you can find me on social media. Find me on Facebook as Magically Blessed. Find me on Twitter at Priestess Autumn. Find me on YouTube at Autumn Phoenix. Find me on Periscope at Autumn Phoenix. And find me on Instagram at Autumn_Phoenix1. So thank you everybody for joining me tonight. And I will be speaking to you guys shortly. Bye everybody.